Good afternoon. We are now proceeding towards the fourth and last presentation, which then will be followed by the open rehearsal of Chicago Boys at the Rietveld. And our fourth guest is an artist with whom I work very closely. We met with Hiwa K in 2005 in an academic surrounding, and we collaborate since. And Hiwa is an Iraqi Kurdish artist and musician living recently in Berlin. He graduated from secondary school in Iraq and continued education in self-educational circles in his home country. And for me, it's a very important reason for inviting him, because Hiwa has such a good experience in self-learning and peer-to-peer education. And the studies they were undertaking in Suleimania were transdisciplinary studies among visual artists, intellectuals, musicians, and theater artists. And the major fields of this informal and non-systematic studies were European literature and philosophy, learned from available books translated into Arabic. Since 1985, he practiced painting also in the public space. And he abandoned the discipline around 1998 and completed flamenco guitar studies with Master Paco Peña, which led to working for several years in the field. Subsequently, he returned to visual arts and graduated in the Academie der Bildenden Kunst in Mainz, Germany, and was a guest student at Städteschule Frankfurt with Simon Starling. The practice of music he has a strong influence on his visual arts project, such as Chicago Boys. His projects appear to be a continuous critique of art education, the professionalization of art practice, which is very much connected, of course, to the market economy, and commodification of the art object. It's also a critique of staging and visibility. Oh my God, staging! This is where we are now, and visibility as well as the myth of the individual artist. Many of his works are forms and outcomes of collaborations and have to do with the process of teaching and learning. In this, rather on getting to know as everyday practice than knowledge as a formalized discipline. Recently, his project for the Few Socks of Marbles is presented in Musac, Spain, and is contributing to the group show On the Edgware Road at the Serpentine Gallery in London. Upcoming shows include La Triennale in Paris and Alternativa 2012 in Gdańsk. I think that once in life, the curator, like me, meets the artist who contributes so much to her field of practice and understanding what artistic practice could be, and what the art form could become. And for me, this artist is Hiwa. Please give a warm welcome to Hiwa K.
Thanks. I never prepare. I'm very thankful for inviting me. It's very nice to be invited to the place where you were rejected to study 2 times. And then, yeah, I'm going to be Elvis this now. Okay, and yeah, she introduced me. Thank you. I cannot say more than that. And what we were talking about, it was about my brother. So we were really searching for this guy, and he disappeared for 3 months in 1983. He's 10 years older, 12 years older than me, and so we couldn't find him. And because at that time, a lot of people tried to go from. I'm sorry, I will bombard you with my screen. So we couldn't find him until a while, and after 3 months we saw him because people were going from Iran to Europe at those times, from Iraq to Iran and to Europe. So, and they said that's much easier to go to Spain, to go to Pakistan, and from there to fly, to falsificate a passport and fly somewhere. So that was one of the things which I was interested in showing you guys is when he came back after 3 months, we saw him. He was really he had this long beard, and is it working? Oh no. Yes, it was working. Huh? Yeah, exactly. So he has this long beard, and he was telling me about a puzzle he learned at the prison. Actually, the puzzle goes like this. Is it working or not? Yes, and it goes like that. So it's, there was a guy who went from the Orient to the West, and there he fell in love with a princess. You know, like this kind of stories which you learned it in jail and prisons, and so he started to ask for the hand of the princess in marriage, to ask her hand, and the king, the king is really very very pissed off. Like he says, "How you dare to ask my daughter's hand in marriage?" So like he gives him death penalty, but he has only one night to solve this puzzle, and he say, "I'm going to make you this star, and without touching it, you should, the whole night, you should try to make a cross out of it." So he's not allowed to touch it at all, and he should make a cross out of it. So the king make him this star, and the poor guy the whole night is crying, looking at the star. And by the way, I forgot to say, when people ask me, where are you based? I say, on my feet. Sorry for the confusion with the technicality, yeah. So when people ask me where are you based, I say I'm based on my feet because I came walking to Europe. That's the whole thing. We were with a friend trying to hide in one of the trucks in Patra. Maybe you know, you're from Greece. So in Patra, we were hiding to get to the other side, which is Italy, which we were wishing to go to another country also, where it has some crosses also, where it would be the safe place for us. And we hide with my friend. Actually, I just remember his false name, which is Neriman. I never remember his real name anymore, because I knew him under that name. With Neriman, we were hiding for 2 days in the truck, and until the driver would come and take us into the ship from Patra to take us, hopefully to Italy. And it can take you everywhere. It could take you to South Africa, it could take you back to Iraq, it can take you to Albania. And we heard a lot of cases like that, and people, it was sometimes dangerous. But of course, when it takes you to Italy, you are very lucky. So, and the thing is, we waited 2 days there, and hiding under a lot of stuff behind the truck, and we had a little bit of food, like cakes and something. We ate it already before we moved to the ship. So we didn't have food left, and the ship started to. The driver came back and he put us in the ship, and the ship started to go, and it was completely dark. The only thing I remember is, like, one of the things which was very funny, that we didn't have food first. It was absolute dark, and we didn't have a watch with us. That was the worst thing. Of course, those times we didn't have a mobile, but also, I mean, talking about 90s, but we didn't have a watch also to know the time, to measure the time. So that could be also 10 years for us, because we just didn't know, we didn't know how to count it. Yeah, actually, that's what I was talking about it until suddenly we arrived and the truck started to move to the other side, and after we ate all the package of the paper of the cakes, and so because we were really hungry, so we started to open the how it's called, the charter or something, to see where we are, and we saw some churches, and we were really happy that we are in Italy, and so here we go, we can walk again. So like this journey of walking started from Iraq to Iran to Turkey until Saloniki, and so after that we combine it with other things. And the walk started again from Italy, and so on. And one of the things which is very interesting for me, when I first touched a book, art history book in the West, I started from right to left, because we read from right to left. So the thing is, I started from the most contemporary schools until the old schools. It was just a very interesting confusion, and which had also it marks also some things in my practice. That kind of being confused also by that. And I just took it and I started from the most contemporary thing. But I don't really think that I'm very well informed about contemporary art, and I thank you. I mean, you introduced me as an artist, but I'm diagnosed as an artist. I'm not an artist. So I applied for some academies, and it didn't work, unfortunately, otherwise I would be one of the graduated students here. And I studied flamenco, so for me flamenco, it was also one of the interesting. I was still in the question of what if, we and they and the other and we, always I was in that question of what ifness. And so I started flamenco, and from that moment I could show a little bit of the flamenco, because so this goes a bit later on. And he's not hanged after that. Sorry. So I started to play flamenco after many years, of 6 years. So for me, it was also interesting how these two cultures will meet, and I was always thinking about my lack of history of art, or Western art history. It was always a kind of weakness in my practice, and I came from painting, and I did the painting for 14 years, very orthodox painting, so music changed a lot of things in me. First of all, what I really am impressed by is my professor is Paco Peña, who was teaching me the flamenco guitar, is the best friend of Tony Blair, and he's teaching him also the flamenco guitar. So we both have one professor, who is Paco Peña. It's quite just an information to know. And after that, I just started to come back to that question of and visual art again. So I didn't have enough works. I had to apply for one of the academies, and so I applied it for one of the academies in Germany after 6 years of abandoning art. So with a false portfolio. So I borrowed the portfolio from some friends, and we made a very nice thing and nice story behind it, and I applied. And until I was I was accepted as a student. Finally, I am in, because I never had I was never accepted. Also in Iraq, I never had the chance to study art, because I was not a part of the political, the politics of the Ba'ath regime, Saddam's regime. So I was kind of against that. So I never had. So I thought it was the first time I have it, and. So it was never taken seriously what I was doing. Of course, they didn't know that that my portfolio was false. So each one gets a place. It's called Arbeitsplatz in Germany. You get a place for your work, like every student. And students are really fighting like cats for 10 centimeters. So, and I had my space. It was quite wide for almost a year. And why is it the beamer is doing so small? It's so big here, I cannot control it. Is it okay? Sorry. So it's fine. It's too big, no? How can I make it smaller? Which I could grow. No, it's okay if it's with the system, it's fine. I'll do it, thank you very much. So, let's see. So I started with my first project, which was called The White Wall. And the Academy was really very, very orthodox about producing objects and also like pushing me also, which was not bad also somehow, because as soon as I left the academy, which was a small orthodox academy, I went to another open academy, which is like how it's called, Seijdel Schule. And like 2 semesters, after 2 semesters, I missed that tension, so I went back to this old small school. So the project was always, there was no project actually, but I was always in the position of what if. So like asking these questions that I'm out of the situation, something like it's something, you know, whether I could get in or not. I was always afraid of that, you know, like a lack of history. I think it's really very small, no? Maybe. Oh yeah, that's it. And now, sorry. So it was not very much accepted at the academy because and they didn't buy my stories. So of course, they didn't want to hear it like, no, they say you should prove that you are the good. What's going on? Is it okay? Oh, it's my computer. Maybe, yeah. No, it's. Sorry. So I hope it will work now. So those works were, you know, suddenly you come to the school and you started, I was really defending my wall like hell every day, like 8 hours a day. And so they started slowly to take it seriously, the students, but the professors still, they were never taking it seriously. Like I was going and checking whether there is anything on the wall, any trace, so I had to clean it and paint it again. And it was quite provoking, but I didn't want to provoke the professors. I was just like, for me, it was a platform of talk. And we're a platform also talking about where I come from and how empty I feel toward doing something, you know, like, so it was, those, as you see, other students are always producing. And suddenly when I came back after a weekend, I saw people hanging works on my wall. And they really used it, so I had to tell them, guys, it's really, you should respect my space, and it's a work, and I had to clean it again and take everything, you know, like, until, so it took a year. It took the whole year. Like I was quite under pressure by the professor, by 3 professors. 2 of them kicked me out, and the 3rd one took me at the end and let me make a diploma. Because I really wanted a diploma also. I wanted the work to be accepted, and also you need it as a, you know, I was not Germanated yet, and I wanted to have a diploma to get German passport, so it was making sense. So it's until a moment came, the moment came where I was really under pressure from the whole school. So especially the professor told me tomorrow. Like in 2 weeks, she came each 2 weeks, and she saw always I'm the lazy guy, I'm not doing anything. And she said, next time I will have a talk with you, and it will be at 6 o'clock, we will have a talk. You must really talk about what you are doing. And I have to see an object on the wall, otherwise you will be kicked out from the academy or from the class at least, forever. So it was really very challenging. And where's the... It's so crazy. Sorry. Yeah, it was quite challenging, and so when she came back, I had this object, and it took 1 hour to talk a little bit about art. Yes, and I was kicked out from the academy. So I went to another artist, to another painter, Friedman Hahn. He's one of the really most important painters. Like he's from not most important, but he's a great painter. I really admire his works. He's one of the 80s painter, expressionist painters. And he took me also for a while, and after that he said, why I don't see you painting? I say, I am painting, look, I have so many paints in my nails, but I just don't show you because it's something private, you know, so I would do it for myself. So it was very hard until until the end I had to work on the whole, you know, thing, because for me the academy where everyone was stuck, or everyone was, sorry, I don't want to offend anybody, but everyone was quite territorial about his own work, you know, in his own studio and fighting for his territory. And for me, I was always the how it's called, that lazy guy who's not producing anything. But what I was happy about is I just started with another. So the moment came like from this what if to the, you know, as if. So the moment of people talk a lot about other, and you just take it so seriously. But suddenly I say, just a second. My mom told me never talk about people when they are not there. So don't talk about the other, you know, just like I didn't talk about that. That was a moment of, to stop with this gossip and just, you know, to do as if I was here and I just missed something, and I just trying to track again. So I started, after not seeing my mom for 4 years, I started to organize this project with my mom. And can I have some sound? So I was inviting my mom on Skype from Iraq, from our kitchen, to give us instruction of food. Each food we used to eat from in the kitchen. So and I was translating for my friends and my cooking team, and they were cooking for the whole academy. So this is what we were doing. We had a very interesting kitchen. It was quite well prepared. It's a long video, actually. And slowly people come. So this collaboration in the school was very important for me, you know, bringing the whole school to, you know, another level of work. And like I was also inviting them whether we could paint together, we could do something like it with this kind of inclusion. I was very much interested in bringing back this kind of, or challenging that kind of being stuck in your individual territory, and which led to Chicago. I will let you watch it. So it's a a long video, like actually, it's, you know, like at the end we all...
Vermaken, doe maar, hou daar voor je nek, hoor.
And as you see... This is one of the projects which I wanted to talk about. It went through my study, so I was working in the background, and the teachers were not very happy because I was producing such works, and actually I didn't call it work also myself, but but it was not accepted as anything until the end. I got a good professor who gave me a refugee for the second time. So and one of the other projects I want just to do shortly, like show it, was the caretaker of the school. He's Jim White. He came with the American troops long ago, and he had a motorbike accident, and he couldn't he couldn't work as a soldier anymore. So he was working as a caretaker of the school, and I hope to work here. Yes. No, it's the Spanish one. Sorry. Just a second. Maybe this one. Sorry, technically I'm really very bad. So where I met Jim White, he worked as a caretaker at the school, and he's from the States, from New Jersey, and there I started to teach him how to play the country guitar, and it was first as a friendship and as also together, you know, doing something together, but also it was very much about, you know, about the music which I heard as a child, also coming from, you know, this music which came from Western films to me, and also getting it by ear, learning it, and after that, I think the video is not really very good. So it's a long video. I'm not going to show you all these things. You know, like we go through many pieces, which. And he never played guitar in his life before, so it's like a process.
Und hier ist sehr wichtig, sehr leise, langsam. Weißt du, es ist die gleiche Form. Diese Form ist. Die geht schnell, aber dies ist das gleiche, aber langsam. Und hier noch langsam.
So it's this project also like kind of was one of the projects which I was trying to involve also other students and you know in the discussion about that, and I think luckily I didn't learn much from the academy, the things which we were supposed to learn, because I was supposed to learn art history, but I started from the right to left, as I said, so it wasn't very much possible. So what we would do is just like they never had these questions in the academy, like somebody would come with all of this doubt and all of lack of all art history behind them, and coming and suddenly trying to jump into the other side from what if to the as if, you know. And it was, until this project and many other projects, I'm not going to bother you with them. It was one of my practice to the academy until the project, this one which we are working on, how it's called, this country guitars led to the final performance which we do with Jim White. Once sometimes we did it also lately in Spain. Yeah. Can we have some sound, please? So here Jim is playing the guitar and I'm playing the harmonica with the orchestra. Brass band. film Once Upon a Time in the West with Jim. So it was also, it raised a lot of questions sometimes also. Some of them I'm able to answer, some of them are just funny. So I bombard you with a lot of works because I don't want to keep talking all the time. So the whole story began how I talked. I went to the academy. So at the end, I had to get my diploma, and my diploma was the moment where I am going to tell them, guys, the portfolio was wrong, and in Germany it's a bit too difficult to do such thing because you cannot play with such a thing with them. And it was a very difficult moment, so I had my professor also on Skype, and Aneta was one of them also. Simon Starling was also defending quite a lot, and somebody also who was a lawyer. And we decided to and Barty Bear from Muka. How long does it take? So it's the moment where I tell my professors, one of them is live and another one is on Skype. You see, I have to go in 20 minutes. Is it okay? So maybe you could start or he could start, maybe, I don't know.
Okay, if you prefer him to speak first, I can wait.
Okay, I'll let 20 seconds. So my friend was also online, this guy who's on, I told him to paint himself online and to put the camera on it. So he's the guy from whom I borrowed the portfolio.
Minuto dla zaawansować. Basi fakta gada, que só podia ir para Minuto dla sala zaawansować está no clear assim.
We know each other from 1989.
كانت ذاك المتقدم مع هاي ماكد. أو كانت أنتو workshop قلتو.
When he applied for... That's my professor who's really overwhelmed. He doesn't know what's going on. For art academy there, he made a workshop, he took a part in a workshop I was organized by me. So the whole thing was like, I actually, when I stopped painting 1998, my friend was very impressed by my kind of figurative, but I was impressed also by him, so we were really having a lot of influence on each other. But we had a slight difference from each other's paintings. So he started using my figures when I was studying in Rotterdam. He was just like, I said, come on, these people were telling him, these figures, Hiwa uses it very often. He said, yeah, but he doesn't need them anymore, so I can use them. So it was, like about this relation, how we could also relate to like, how when you come from a collective society, how this whole idea of authorship or an individual, how the signature, how it's different, seen completely different. And he didn't know that after 6 years I'm going to come back and ask for my credit in his works, because I said, no, it's time, you can borrow me some paintings. So he's talking about that situation, that moment where we met in 1989, and slowly we started to develop kind of work atmosphere together, because I come from this informal, education atmospheres where like Aneta would call it peer-to-peer, like we all teach each other and we learn even painting and drawing and tea houses. And we learn about books also, about philosophy and tea houses, all were the available books at that time. So he's talking about that situation and how implicated we were in each other. So so I was also telling the professor, like in this work, like by having the canvas and buying the paint, you cannot claim having that painting as you cannot claim the authorship of the painting, because where are my talks, where are my influences? So we were working on that thing. So I think it led to this kind of work, but I actually had to do my best to use it also pragmatically in order to get the diploma, because I didn't want to be kicked out in Germany without any diploma. So it was also had a lot of pragmatism at the same time, not only as a concept. Because once Simon Stalin told me, Hiwa, that's if you want to do artwork out of this, it's very old. We call it appropriation. Yeah, I see, but this is what I'm doing is inappropriation. And that's Mr. Fink, who's a lawyer. He's very much. I'm very sorry because the work is not edited, and I don't know. I really don't like to edit works also, so I don't know how to find this solution to make a ready product for you guys to watch it. So that's why I think it's better that I show it once in a while and I talk about it. That nature as our studio when the war was starting in the city. So we were like going 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers from the city to the nature, where it was not dangerous for us, and we were like spending 3 months. 3 months. So he's also talking about the intensity of us being through the Gulf War, first Gulf War, or for us is the second, 1991. That moment of, we abandoned the city and we were all really very, very much in nature and just trying to paint, and we were influencing each other, and that intensity which came also from war and something which we don't want to thematize in our artworks, but it was a fact that something brought us really very much together, very close to each other. And it's a very long, it's 2 hours, so I'm not going to bother you with those things.
This was a student you're interested in.
Okay.
General rule.
Okay. But you've seen a lot of kind of appropriations for words because you are very often in our academy and you are showing also many. Yeah, it's just it's really it doesn't make sense if I show you the whole work. You know, it's so much.
How you all self-educated each other. It made me of this approach, and also listening to your friends and also what you told me when I met you in Mainz about the group of your friends with whom you worked since, as far as I remember, late 80s. Made me think about how important is this teamwork. It's working as a group or as a certain kind of communality. And when you told me how you all operated and how you all self-educated each other, it made me immediately understand both your work and the way you operated at the school.
So Aneta's defending the situation not to be punished by the teachers. And a moment came that
so I think for the initial kind of remark that would be it.
he just started to play the guitar without.
May I have some questions for you?
Aneta, I'm just sorry, just a second. Jim has started playing something, maybe we could just listen. Just for a while.
That's it. Thank you. So I'm open for any questions. Anything, Aneta? Thank you very much.